Right, thanks everyone again for joining us for another WKS Zoom podcast. This time I'm with a guy who goes by the name of National Trevor, but you can see by his tag maybe there his name's Simon. But okay, so how you doing?
I'm very good, thank you. Yeah, I'm
Brilliant.
all right. Coping. Looking
Yeah,
forward to the end of lockdown.
yes, yeah, totally agree with that. Do you want to start off by sort of telling the viewers a bit about how you got into music in the first place?
Yeah, absolutely. So I guess my first realization I really loved music and really wanted to be involved was listening to the Beatles. I think in the back of my parents' car. I think that's really where it all started. And then yeah, sort of late 80s. Seeing U2's Rattle and Hum film, that
Mm,
that that really made me want to kind of get on a stage and perform and connect with an audience and all that. That was really massive. And then I guess my formative years was the grunge scene. I think early 90s and yeah, Nirvana particularly,
yeah.
and then getting into bands from then on, but also dabbling a little bit with electronic music from quite a young age. I had a kind of sampling Yamaha keyboard, and so I've always loved. I started playing that before playing guitar as well. So
Right.
that was always kind of there too.
Right. So you're now a solo act, is that right?
Yeah, I've been in rock bands before, and then yeah, my interest in electronics is kind of carried on, and love of technology. I'm a lecturer in music technology, and got very interested in live electronic music,
Mm,
as well as using electronics in studio production as well. And so yeah, that led me down to start exploring some solo work with that, and then as the band's stuff fell away, I've just carried on with that.
right.
um, and yeah, first of all taking that into a master's degree, looking at how to um, perform live electronic music, and then recently completing a PhD in it as well.
Wow. Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. So, this is a hard thing to sort of probably quantify, but or classify even. Where would you put your genre, your style then?
So it's I'd say I'm a kind of experimental pop with, so it's a kind of yeah, electronic singer songwriter. I guess
Okay.
that's the kind of genre. So very influenced by Radiohead, Tom York, um, James Blake, Sohn, Björk, these kinds of people. Um, but yeah, I use guitar a lot still in a lot of my work, though not
Right.
always.
Right. So with your songwriting then, what's your actual process for that? And do you find it an easy process or quite a challenge?
I find it more of a challenge now because it's about having time to experiment and explore. Um, but yeah, process is a really interesting thing, and it's something that I looked at um, a lot in my PhD. In fact, a big chunk of it was exploring the idea of what the process is, and particularly when working with electronics to the point where I was actually building my own software to work with. And a key thing was whether I kind of brought those new tools or built the software at the beginning of the writing stage, or whether I'd already got some ideas, or even a fully fledged song that I'd written
Mm,
on guitar and with vocals, and then brought the electronics to the party at a later point. So I do both those things. So it's about kind of finding a starting point, like sort of coming from a often quite a whimsical place. So I might think, oh, okay, yeah, church bells are interesting. Let's
okay.
model one in software, and then design something where I can interact. I can play guitar with a kind of virtual system of church bells, or I might just hear something, make a recording of it, chuck that into the computer, start messing around with that, and then build a song out of that.
Mm,
Um, or yeah, the more traditional thing of just playing around on guitar and coming up with something that sounds good, or
right.
yeah. finding an existing tool and just experimenting with that, see what comes up. But I
Brilliant.
think a lot of people, yeah, probably having a lot of things lying around, a lot of ideas, storing things on the computer, and then just coming back to them once in a while, developing them, see where they go.
There was I think it was a program, Country File. I don't know if you do that sort of program, but there was a chap on there this week who records bird sounds and bird songs, and basically he then recreates them with his own voice, and turns them into a piece of music. It was quite an interesting, it was only like a 5-minute clip on there, but it was quite an interesting concept how he could do that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, obviously one of the questions that is asking is, you know, how do you find that the maybe the internet and software stuff has impacted on music, you know, overall? I mean, my personal view is it's massive. I mean, is that the same thing for you?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. The possibilities that it opens up are absolutely, you know, endless in terms of researching new techniques, discovering new tools, you know, finding out about, you know, other artists' processes and things like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, you know, I guess in this internet age, there are so many possibilities. There's so much music we can discover, so many techniques we can discover. There's so much software out there that the challenge is actually keeping track of that.
Right.
You know, I joke with my students that, like, even it's kind of, I forget what software I have, because, you know, when a free piece of software comes out, I'll check it out and go, oh yeah, that looks good, and then download it, install it, and then maybe get round to use it, or if I remember, I've still got it, you know. And so I think that's really the challenge, is kind of navigating your path and drawing boundaries for your practice, when you can really go into so much, is kind of finding that point where you go, yeah, this is what I'll do, and this is what I'll happily just appreciate. I think, and I'll leave it to other people.
Yes, brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant. So what, you know, for anybody who wants to sort of listen to your music, what's out there and where can they find it?
So yeah, I've just released an album, which is my first for 10 years, which is called Ordinary Broken Hearts. You can find that on all major streaming services. So National Trevor, Ordinary Broken Hearts. That's just come out. There were some single releases that preceded that as well. So that's the main thing I'm pushing at the moment. And then 10 years ago, I did another album called Baby, I'm Your Boy. So that's out there as well. Also, you know, if you want a real deep dive into the career of Waite, you can also find some stuff I did with a band as well called Captain Yange, which is so that's Captain Yange, Yange, and we did a record back in 2008, and then like all good rock bands, probably split up. So yeah, we still got an EP in the making that you know, we'll get around to finishing maybe one day.
Yes. Okay. How did you find then with these lockdowns? I know, like myself, you're in the education industry. So how did you find lockdown musically?
Challenge, I think. I listen to a lot of Six music, and I think it was Tim Burgess. I think it's either Tim Burgess. It was quite a few people, and also Gaz Coombs from Supergrass, talking about how they found it really difficult to be inspired, you know, in the face of a global crisis, basically, and sort of sitting there, kind of coming up with music, felt like quite a self-indulgent thing to do when, you know, there's so much going on. And I think I've struggled with that as well. Very much. Sort of on a more positive side, I did do some live streaming gigs, and I found that really rewarding. Actually, is I did one with for an event called Quarren Stream, which is hosted by a colleague of mine, Nora Lawway, and that involved people from all over the world performing through Twitch, which was really cool, but slightly stressful because my internet connection couldn't really handle doing the visuals and the music at the same time. And I was there performing, just thinking, I don't know if this is even working.
Yes.
I've got no idea. And then, interestingly, a big discovery was that sort of in the absence of being able to do gigs, some friends of mine run a radio station, an internet radio station on livesets.com called Hugs, which stands for Home of Underground Sunshine. And I spoke to the person running that, thinking, oh, I could do a guest slot on someone's show or something. And then before I'd really realized what I was doing, I'd signed up to having my own show. So I now do a monthly show, first Thursday of the month, called National Trevors Transmissions. If you're interested in what kind of stuff I play, there's a Spotify playlist on my Spotify. But yeah, that was again a really nice way to connect with people. Actually, is so rather than doing a gig, to connect with people over radio. There's a chat room in there again, so you can interact with people listening. And
Brilliant.
that was really cool.
Yeah, really, really good. So let's imagine you can travel back in time to maybe when you were, I don't know, 14, 15 years old and music was up there. If you could give yourself back then one bit of advice, what would it be?
Probably to really listen to other people's feedback on your work, is like really seek out lots of feedback on your work, and and collaborate and keep those collaborations going, and encourage the people you're working with. Sorry, I'm getting into two things now.
Right.
I think I've been very, very lucky to collaborate with lots of people, and some of those have continued, some of those have fallen by the wayside a little bit. But yeah, those two things, I think, very much as a solo artist, I very much appreciate the opportunities to collaborate when they come along, and that might just be by getting somebody into your studio and listening to the mix and saying, yeah, your snare doesn't sound great, or try some of this, or so that's really, really important. And I think as well, knowing what you're trying to achieve, is that's saying earlier about kind of setting boundaries for your practice, and I think that's really, really important.
Brilliant.
Yeah, I think but looking back to that time, we were still in this kind of we were still kind of hunting down this dream, I think, of a record deal, and getting famous and all that, and making a ton of money by selling bits of plastic and metal or what have you. And that's just so far gone now. It's so different. Where there is very little to be made through streaming. You have to be, I think, a much better business person now than ever before to get yourself heard and get yourself out there. And being able to focus on both the creative side of things and the business aspect is an absolute necessity now.
Wow, fantastic. So hopefully this lockdown scenario is going to come to an end pretty soon. Who knows? But so what's next then? What are your plans?
Well, the next immediate plans is some remixed EPs that I'm working on. So some long-time collaborators is a couple of really good friends called the Vilt Collective, and they're Bristol based now, but I've known them a long time. So I'm doing a remix EP for them, so hopefully have that out in the summer. And then I've got another remix EP, which is a kind of combination of my stuff that's been remixed by other people. One being Danny Mechanic, who's a good friend, and Danny was in Candy Flip, back in the day. I don't know if you remember them. They did a cover of Strawberry Fields. I don't know if you remember that. And they were also, he was one half of Sure Is Pure. Did lots of remixes, massive in acid house circles, and he's also involved with the Rude Box album by Robbie Williams.
Okay.
So he's done a couple of remixes, and then I'm doing a couple of remixes for some other friends called The Last Picture Show, and a Stoke-on-Trent artist called Claire Brennan. So
Brilliant.
have those out, and then some more National Trevor material in pipeline, which might drip feed out as singles, just to kind of keep constant stream of stuff coming out. I think I'm still not sure about the whole album format thing, or maybe now it can be a mixture of both. It's release singles as they're ready, and then eventually put the album out when something coherent is ready. And kind of I did 5 singles I think for this record, so it's quite a lot of singles. To try and perk up some interest first before the album then comes out.
Brilliant. Right, final question for you, mate. Is there anybody you'd like to thank for you being here musically now?
For firstly my parents for introducing me to Beatles and Stones, and the long car journeys to listen to them on, and having a record player at home, and I've got those Beatles albums now on vinyl, and that's really nice to have. Buying me kind of hi-fi equipment and instruments and sending me off to piano lessons and things. A guy called Robbie, who I was first in a band with and really got into writing songs, and then on top of that, just anybody who's I've ever collaborated with and is impacted particularly. So that's Pete Vilk, John Wilkinson, Matt Robinson, John Mullaney, and everybody else who I've forgotten.
That's brilliant. Si, thank you so much for your time. Really interesting, and good luck when we come out of this and start making music again and putting it out there.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Thanks
for having me. You take care.
Will do.
Cheers.
Thank you.